It's 95 K-Day Morning Show, Thursday morning, a.k.a. Friday Eve, Westside Morning Ride Mix with DJ 2-3, and it's very legendary up in here right now. Laker legend Byron Scott hanging out with the K-Day Morning Show. You're going to get close to the MIC. Holla at me. How
yes,
you doing,
sir. Yes, sir. Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain. Life is good.
Yeah, really. I watch you on Instagram. I said, okay, my man is doing all right.
I'm doing okay. You know, I'm having a lot of fun, enjoying life. Especially with my wife, we just we just trying to enjoy life.
I love
that.
Live
it up, have fun.
I love that. I'm trying to do the same thing. Not mad at you. So I'm glad you're here. Now I know we want to talk Final Four, Lakers, some other things, but I have a couple questions that you might be able to answer.
Okay.
All right. So winning time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. A lot of people were tapped in for that, and of course the show is no longer on. It's been canceled. But I want to know if some of the things they were portraying in that was most of it true, some of it true. Could you speak on that at all?
You know what, Romeo? I can just tell you what I know, because you got to remember when they were shooting this, I wasn't on the Lakers at that time.
Okay.
You know, I came in it would probably been season 3, coming into my rookie year.
Yeah.
But from what I know, a lot of the stuff, I would say half and half.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, when you're doing it for TV, of course you got to, dramatize it a little bit more to make it, make it more appealing to the fans. But a lot of the stuff, like almost every episode, it would come on. My wife would ask me the same question: "Is that true? Did that happen?" And some of the times I would say, "Babe, I have no idea."
Okay.
And other times I would say, "Nah, that didn't happen," and it didn't happen like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, for the entertainment value, I mean, of course, people are going to tune into it and check it out because. It's the Lakers. First of all, it's a dynasty, baby.
Come on, it truly is. It truly is.
It's a dynasty.
And I think about the dynasty. So you came to the latter half of what they filmed on that. But I did hear a story about you, Michael Thompson, and some boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Do you care to elaborate on that? What happened in that moment? Because now I'm intrigued.
Oh, I whooped his ass. I mean, let's just be straight up. Michael, and that's my boy.
Right.
But Michael was one of those guys back in the days that talked a lot of smack.
Okay.
And said he can do this, he can do that. I mean, he was also the guy that told us that he was in the Bahamas swimming and a 14-foot tiger shark came up to him and he kicked him and the tiger shark went away. I'm like, okay, you know how fast you can kick in the water? So I don't believe that a 14-foot shark just left you alone.
Right.
But anyway, so Michael kept talking, and one day he was talking about boxing. And I said, listen, man, look, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Inglewood. So I had to fight all the time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't one of those real tall guys. So, I said tall guys and big guys never had to really fight in high school because people were intimidated by their size.
Right.
I said, that's you. You were 16 in the 8th grade. Nobody messed with you. You was too tall.
Right.
I said, so you probably never had a fight in your life. So when we started putting on gloves, he took them off and said he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to hurt me is what he said.
Really?
So I walked up to him about a day or two later, and I said, I tell you what, if you stand up off the bench, because he was sitting down. I said, if you stand up, I'm going to whoop your ass. And it's just going to be slap boxing. I said, I'm not going to hit you with my fist. I said, we just going to slap box. Well, he stood up.
Yeah.
And, long story short, I whooped his ass.
Wow. We just heard it right here from the legend Byron Scott. So, and you're saying you weren't one of the tall ones. First of all, you're very tall. Especially compared to what's in this room.
Yeah, okay.
But let's keep it all things Lakers for a second.
Yes, sir.
Great road record the last 2 days. They won last night, even though they kind of let off toward the end of the game, almost let that slip away. They're probably going to get in. It may be the playoff round like last year. We saw what kind of success they had.
Right.
What do you think can happen, and who has a better chance of going further in the playoffs, Clippers or Lakers?
Wow. See, that's a good question. I think the way both teams are playing right now, I'm still putting my money on that purple and gold.
Got to.
Because they got two of the best ever, in the game when you talk about LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yes.
AD has been healthy this season, played his butt off. And if they had a better record, if they probably had 9 or 10 more wins, we would be talking about AD as the league MVP.
Easily,
He would be in that category. Not only there, but also is one of the best defensive players as well in the league. So with their record right now, they're starting to generate some wins. They're starting to generate some momentum. Yeah. I don't think there's a team in the West, except one, that is not afraid to play. That is afraid to play the Lakers.
Yeah, and you're talking about the Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets is the only team I think in the West that says, we don't care if we play them or not. But every other team I think in the West is like, man, we really don't want to play them.
I agree,
because if you have those two players that we just talked about play at a high level like they've been playing, and you have the supporting cast play relatively well,
yes,
it's going to be hard to beat them.
I agree 100%.
So I guess my answer is the Lakers.
Loving that answer. Of course, 2 hour Westside Morning Ride mix with the homie DJ 2-3. Now, when we come back, we got to talk about the Final Four, the Angel Reese situation, how people been going at her. We're going to speak on that. Laker legend Byron Scott, you in the building. You said you have 4 hip-hop artists that you truly admired. Give me one right now.
Oh, man. And these 4 are hard. Two of them to me was pretty easy.
Okay.
And one right now?
Yes.
Tupac.
Okay. You're naming 4 of your favorite hip-hop artists of all time. You just gave us Tupac.
Yep.
We're going to get to the other one in a minute, but let's talk about the Final Four for men and women because, first of all, I got to give a round of applause to women's basketball.
Oh, my God.
It's finally getting the respect and the flowers well-deserved, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been a big fan of women basketball for a long time. I think, the late, great Kobe Bryant kind of put it on the map when he started talking about it. We know Gigi was an unbelievable basketball player as well.
Yeah.
But I think now people are really starting to notice how great these women are as far as playing the game of basketball. Even though they're playing it below the rim, if you really look at the way they play and the style that they play with and the fundamentals that they have, the fundamentals are probably much better than some of the guys, when you really watch them. So I'm giving a lot of props to the women, college basketball. And this Final Four, it's the first time, Romeo, that I've been sitting on my couch watching not only the men, but the women as well. I normally wait till the NCAA final game to watch the women. But this year it's like, I got to check this out, because they got some unbelievable women in the game of basketball.
I agree 100%. And the other day my son had practice, and I was mad because I was going to miss the LSU Iowa game. But when I got out of my car, I walked by like maybe 10 to 12 cars.
Yeah.
Every car had it on in the radio.
Yeah.
And if not that, they had it on, they were watching it on their cell phone.
Yeah.
I'm talking about women's college basketball, and I was so impressed with that. So before we get your predictions this weekend, this whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good for the sport.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can hurt feelings and get a little ugly. So we know what happened last year. LSU, they won.
Yeah.
They had the whole hand with the ring on it. Angel Reese was considered the villain.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark gets revenge this year. Now, the fact that Angel Reese had that reputation, yet she broke down on the panel, people were going at her. Were they wrong for that?
I think so. Again, it's a game filled with emotions,
right?
And you got women who are playing this game at a very high level. I think if Angel Reese's name was Andy and she was on the men's play, it wouldn't be no big deal because men talk more smack than in the game than anything. But so you see a woman talk smack, like Angel Reese did, it seems like a lot of people get offended. But listen, she's an athlete.
Yeah,
she's a high competitive athlete who wants to win, and she's going to try to get in your head any way that she can. Now, did Caitlin get revenge this year? Absolutely, in a big way. The girl,
definitely.
Look, Caitlin Clark is a bad girl.
She's a baller.
She is a bad. I mean, where she shoots the ball and the type of range she has, she is Steph Curry. With a ponytail.
Come on now, for real. I mean, hitting from the logo and everything.
The girl is bad. You just got to give her credit.
Okay.
But that was the most watched game in women basketball history when you saw those two guys going at it. And you got to give Angel Reese a lot of credit, too. She had 17 points, 20 rebounds. She played her butt off, But at the end of the game, they are people. These are women. They love what they do. They're very competitive. And for people to go at her now because of her losing the game, I thought she showed her emotion because she's a winner.
Yeah.
I think is uncalled for and unjustified.
I agree. All right, so I want to go ahead and get some picks from you. So we got them going down starting tomorrow, Iowa and UConn. Paige versus Clark.
Man.
Who do you foresee winning that one?
I tell you what, Paige is a bad girl too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going with Iowa.
Okay.
I think because of Caitlin and the way she can play the game and the way she gets everybody involved, she's got ladies on that team playing probably a little bit above their pay grade or scale because they have so much confidence and she has so much confidence in them. So I think Iowa's going to win that game against UConn and get to the finals.
Okay, North Carolina State's taking on South Carolina. I got South Carolina winning that. Do you have that? Is that
absolutely.
It should be an easy win, even though this is considered a Cinderella team, North Carolina State. So I kind of foresee South Carolina maybe getting revenge on Iowa after what happened last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we never know.
You know what, Romeo, I'm with you. I think South Carolina, Iowa will be the most watched women's game in history of college basketball by
I
far.
agree, yeah.
And you got Don Staley, who's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in women basketball, against the South Carolina team that lost one game last year, hasn't lost a game this year.
No.
And like you said, going against, if this happens like we think it will, Iowa going against them, being that the Iowa team beat them, I think South Carolina is going to have revenge on their mind, and I think South Carolina will be our NCAA women's champions this year.
Your predictions from Laker legend Byron Scott hanging out. All right, we're going to pay some bills, but going into this commercial break, what's your next favorite hip-hop artist? You said Tupac. That way when we come back, we're going to go ahead and make sure we play them. Who you got next?
Oh, next is the man from the East Coast, Biggie Smalls.
Biggie. Tupac, Notorious B.I.G. That's 2 out of 4.
That's 2 out of 4.
We're going to get to some more, but first things first, Bronny James. So there's rumor that he may be leaving USC. He may go elsewhere. I'm not sure. I've heard Penn State. I've heard different cities like that. But if you were still coaching, is this the player you want to be like, hey, come to my university?
Oh, absolutely. I think, because of who he is and because of who his dad is, Bronny probably doesn't get the recognition that he deserves for what he can do on a basketball court.
True. I
mean, he's 6'4", he's athletic as hell. He can shoot it. He can put it on the floor. I think he has a great talent, and I think he will get to the next level. So if I'm coaching somewhere right now, yes, sir, I'm reaching out to him, say, come on over here. And I'm like you, Romeo. I heard Penn State. I've also heard SMU, where his coach just went to. So he has his pick of the litter where he wants to go.
He definitely does.
He just got to pick a situation that's right for him.
And a friend of mine was like, well, look what happened to Jordan's son, try to be a pro. I said, well, Jordan's son is not balling like Bronny James. Do not compare them at all.
No, don't do that comparison, because Bronny, he got game. And not saying that MJ's son didn't, but not to this level.
Not to that level.
So Bronny got big time game.
So do you have that itch to get back into the coaching game? Because I know there's some places that has openings right now.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about maybe possibly getting back into that?
You know what? I've been thinking about that for the past couple of months, and then obviously when you start looking at March Madness and what's going on there, man, I start getting the itch big time. I'm like, man, I got to get back into coaching on the collegiate level. I would love it because it's a lot of teaching, and you could be a mentor to a lot of these young men. So, man, Romeo, I got the itch big time. So I want to get into coaching, and hopefully it happens this year.
I love that.
If not, maybe next year, because I know I'm talking about it late, coming on. But and I know a lot of teams or a lot of universities that have openings, they're doing their searches right now. But, all you universities out there, throw my name in the hat, because I'm telling you, I can help you.
Come on,
I can get you to the next level.
He's been there. He's done that several times. So make sure y'all get at Byron Scott on that for sure. All right, let's get into your next favorite hip-hop artist. You said Tupac, you said Biggie.
Yeah.
Give me another one.
Man, I love this dude because he was so fly back in the day. And lyrically, there wasn't a whole lot of people that can touch him. Big Daddy Kane.
Man, I appreciate you taking time to hang out with us, man, this morning. It means a lot to the city and to me. Thank you so much for that.
Romeo, anytime for you, my brother. You know that.
I love that. So, look, as a coach, you've worked with the late Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Chris Paul.
Yes.
Some of the greats. How do you handle that situation when you have someone like that as your player?
You know what? It's all about respect.
Okay.
And you got to, in order to get respect, you got to show respect.
Yeah.
And I played the game, so those guys, I think, respect me from the get-go because I played the game, won championships, and that respect is mutual. And I think you just treat them like men. You got to be honest with your players up front. You got to let them know that you're going to have sometimes it's going to be some tough love. I'm going to have you do things and say some things to you that you might not like, but don't listen at how I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying.
I like that. I like that.
Because sometimes as coaches, we get to screaming and yelling, and players, just think you're yelling them, but they're not listening to the message.
Okay.
So sometimes you got to just let them know that, hey, man, I love you. First of all, I'm only coaching you hard because I care for you and I want you to be the best that you could possibly be.
Right. You
know what I mean? I want you to get to those levels that you want to reach. So I've always been a very disciplinarian coach, but I've always been a guy my door is always open, for my players to come in and talk to me about anything.
And my thing is, too, and I mean this in a nice way, when it comes to players like that, their leash, I'm assuming, is a little bit longer than other players. Like you let them okay, you can do a little bit more. I'm going to let you have a little more freedom than other players, right? They've earned that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any coach that sits up here and says, I treat every player the same, they're lying. They're lying. Yeah, don't lie. You know, Pat Riley didn't treat Magic Johnson like he treated Wes Matthews. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I love Wes. That's my boy. But you got different levels to this, you know, and when you got superstars and you got great players like that, you got to give them a little bit more leeway. And also, what I would do, and Chris Paul was great at this. He would come in, you know, during a timeout and be like, "Coach, I got to play. You know, I got to play for us right now. We could take." I said, "But CP, hold on a second, because I got something that I saw out there, and then we'll get right back to yours." You know, you have to give them that type of leeway because they see the game differently than most people. Great players are just different, man, and you got to give them that respect of understanding that they know the game because they're out there playing it.
Right.
And you know, it's all about that. You know, it's all about relationships and respect.
I'm loving that. That's another reason why Coach Byron Scott should be coaching again. Right, for real. Now, before we go, though, we're going to get into your last hip-hop favorite artist, but I got to ask you this question because we didn't do this earlier. Men's NCAA round.
Yes.
North Carolina State, number 11. They are the Cinderella team, but they're going to be running up against Purdue.
Yeah.
Who's going to win that one?
I think North Carolina State's Cinderella season is going to come to an end. I think Purdue, you know, with Big Zach Edey, you know, he's just dominating down there. And then the perimeter guys that he has around him, they've been playing great, you know. So I think Purdue wins that game and they get to the NCAA finals.
Alabama. Who would have thought? The football college, the university, in the Final Four taking on UConn. Who you got in that game?
Alabama got some dogs now. They got some athletes. They're the highest scoring team in college basketball, so they can flat out score, but can they defend? Because UConn is the most complete team to me in college basketball. They can beat you inside, they can beat you outside, they can beat you big, they can beat you small, they can shoot threes. I mean, they got a little bit of everything. And to me, they're the best coach team in college basketball. So I'm going UConn is going to beat Alabama.
Okay. And
they're going to do it by double digits because they haven't had a close game yet. They've been dominating everybody.
That 30-point run.
Oh, they've been killing everybody. You know, so they're going to do it by double digits, and I think you got UConn and Purdue in the finals.
And who's winning that one?
UConn. I think UConn for the first time in, what is it, like almost 20 years, you know, since Florida, University of Florida, when they went back-to-back, I think UConn will do the same thing. They'll go back-to-back this year.
Must-see TV when it comes to the Final Four this weekend. Superstar legend Byron Scott, thank you so much, man, for pulling up again.
Oh, Romeo, my pleasure, my brother.
All right, we got to get into your last one. You gave us Tupac, you gave us Biggie, you gave us Big Daddy Kane. You said you have 4 favorite rappers of all time. Who's number 4?
I'm not going to say his name yet. I'm going to just tell you. This is him. Okay. Where my dog's at? Where my dog's at? So if you don't know who that is, it is DMX.
You hearing it right here. 935K, this morning show 2-3, Westside Morning Ride Mix. Byron Scott, Romeo, let's go.